Chapter 10, Chemical Bonding 1, the Lewis Model. Quote from Karl Popper, "Theories are nets cast to catch what we call the world. To rationalize, to explain, and to master it, we endeavor to make the mesh ever finer and finer." So sometimes the stuff that we're talking about here in class doesn't seem very practical, right? Like, how does this help anybody with anything? So here's just a little peek at how chemistry is useful, right? So back in 1989, AIDS was a huge problem, and they finally determined the structure of HIV protease, which is, a protein synthesized by HIV. And by knowing the structure of that protein, researchers were able to design several different molecules that would disable that protease, which is an enzyme, by binding to the active site. And to do this, they used bonding theories to simulate the shapes of the potential drug molecules and determine how they would interact with the active site on that enzyme. And protease inhibitors don't cure HIV, but they can reduce the viral load to undetectable, which is pretty amazing. And that drug is a direct result of being able to predict and look at the shapes of molecules and how they interact with other molecules, which has to do with bonding theories. So bonding theories explain how atoms bond together to form molecules. Why are some molecules stable and other molecules are not stable? The shapes of molecules can also be predicted, and those shapes often affect the chemical and physical properties of the substances. So there are several different bonding models. Some are more simple and some are more complicated. But of course there's a trade-off. If you want the one that's really great at predicting things, it's also extremely complicated. And if you want to just stay at more of a simple level, well, that works great in a lot of situations, but doesn't work for everything. So we're going to be looking at 3 different bonding models. And the first one is called the Lewis model. In the Lewis model, the valence electrons are represented as dots, and so you draw Lewis dot structures or Lewis electron dot structures to show molecules. It's a very simple model and helps us to quickly make predictions about a lot of molecules. We can predict the shapes. We can often predict if the molecule is stable or not. Just helps us to understand bonding a little bit.